Such an important song. I need you to survive. It's 6:34 right here on NRP Radio. It's time for our news. Good evening and welcome to our platforms, nrpmediaja.com, also Facebook and YouTube at NRP's Thursday, March 7. I am Leon Nash with the NRP Evening News Roundup. Here are the headlines. Successful councillors in the recent local government elections sworn into office across the island today. JLP wins magisterial recount for its candidate-elect in the Cornwall Mountain Division of Westmoreland. The councillor-elect candidate to be sworn in at the next council meeting. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, says that the government will be implementing measures to ensure greater spend of capital expenditure in the upcoming fiscal year. 3 firearms and several rounds of ammunition seized during an operation in Central Village in St. Catherine yesterday. And in sport, basketball action, Golden State Warriors thrashes at the Milwaukee Bucks 125-90. The news today is brought to you courtesy of NRP Radio, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations whatsoever. Celebrating 3 years since our inception, the NRP brand of radio and other social media platforms on NRP Media JA is your newest online platform accessible for the promotion of your church and community activities along with news and sports related information. It's the platform you have been longing for. So call us today at 876-336-9928 or email us at nationalreligiousmedia@gmail.com.
NRP Media and Radio, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations.
Thank you so much for keeping it locked right here on NRP Radio, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations whatsoever. Just want to remind you that our news comes up weekday 6:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. As we continue now to give you the details of the news. Successful candidates in the recent local government elections were today sworn into office across the island. These include mayors and their deputies in all municipalities to include Portmore and the Kingston and St. Andrew municipalities. Following the elections, both the ruling JLP and the PNP had been claiming victory through the results, though the results were not bearing out the claims. The JLP claimed it was victorious in 7 parishes and the PNP in 6. This was later confirmed in the official release from the Electoral Commission. Following today's swearing in ceremonies, the People's National Party won the mayorship of 2 coveted municipalities, as we said before, the Portmore and the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation. Meanwhile, over in Westmoreland, following a magisterial recount, the JLP candidate Donnet Foster was declared the winner of the Cornwall Mountain Division. She won by 17 votes over the PNP's Abigail Malcolm. Ms. Foster's attorney, Charles Sinclair, who spoke with our newsroom following the declaration, said a win for his client. His client was never in question. He blamed the PNP for what he says was a fishing exercise.
Touching at straws to try and get some ballots. Well, from what I saw when I was present in court and the instructions that I got and the attitude of the representative of the PNP, where I saw that they were really fishing and touching at straws to try and get some ballots removed from the count. What I found even more strange is that in one PD that they even sought to, by virtue of trying to get out the votes that came in for the Jamaica Labour Party, that they were willing to sacrifice votes that came in for the PNP.
That was Attorney at Law Charles Sinclair. and he is representing the JLP's councillor candidate, Donnet Foster. And Mr. Sinclair has urged his clients to work on behalf of all the people and not to be partisan in her approach to her duties when she is installed as the new councillor for the division that she's going to be representing, that is the Cornwall Mountain division. Let's hear from Mr. Sinclair once again.
I would say to her, go out there and work in the best interest of the people of the Cornwall Mountain Division. Do your best. Operate with integrity, transparency, accountability. Serve the people in their interest, not in your interest.
That was attorney at law Charles Sinclair representing JLP's councillor-elect Donnet who won the magisterial recount by 17 votes in the court this morning. Meanwhile, over in Clarendon, a new mayor was installed. He is councillor for the Denby division, Joel Williams. He thanked the many persons whom have helped him to rise to the point where he could be considered as the new mayor.
Those who have guided me along the right path. I want to thank my detractors who will never believe that I could be where I am today. If God is for you, who can be against you?
His deputy is Clive Mundle of the Frankfield division. In other news, the police have arrested 10 persons and seized several weapons in an operation in St. Catherine. A team of officers assigned to the St. Catherine South Police Division seized the 3 firearms and several rounds of ammunition during an operation in Central Village in St. Catherine yesterday. Details of this development was shared with NRP News by Superintendent Christopher Phillips, who spoke with us regarding the operation.
Well, it's a response to the kind of criminal activities, the shootings, murders taking place within the general area of Gregory Park since of late. A few nights ago, these men operating in the train line area of Gregory Park, Caymanas Garden area, fired at the police. And so we have been doing some intelligence work around what's really happening in the community. That led us on an operation last night, midnight, thereabout. And, whilst the team was cordoning off the area, they were basically fired on by men from a particular house in the area. The team, of course, took evasive action, returned fire. Went in pursuit of these men. One man was later found suffering from gunshot wound. He was rushed to the hospital where he later succumbed to his injuries. Weapon was a 9mm pistol was taken from him from that scene. Further search of the area, we found an AK-47 rifle, a shotgun, and several assorted rounds of ammunition, as well as a ballistic vest. We have taken 10 persons in custody, and we expect that charges will be laid on at least 4 of those persons based on what we have gathered so far.
That was Superintendent in charge of the St. Catherine South Police Division. That is Super Phillips. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, says that the government will be implementing measures to ensure greater spend of capital expenditure in the upcoming fiscal year. Dr. Clark, who was addressing the sitting of the Standing Finance Committee of the House of Representatives this week, said that the projects that fell behind on the 2023-24 fiscal year were primarily due to private sector entities that were selected through the procurement process being unable to fulfill their obligations. Dr. Clark noted that in a couple of cases, entities were not able to post the bonds required, which means that the procurement process had to be done all over.
and in other cases, failure in terms of response to the procurement, i.e., the responses don't meet the criteria of the procurement, therefore fails and has to be redone. What we're going to be attempting to do differently this time, remember, in addition to some changes that we'll make in some of the procurement processes, but I think the fundamental difference is going to be to try to be in a position where we have more projects available than budgeted capacity, so that if something is falling behind, we can rotate to something else.
That was Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark. You're listening to news on NRP Radio, your primary source for news weather on nrpmediaja.com, reaching you where you are, no boundaries, no limitations. Now let's give you some sporting information brought to you by Hepburn's Glass. They're located at 13 Chisholm Avenue in Kingston. Join them or call them up today and give to them your needs, your wants, whatever it is. They will be more than ready to take your business and treat you right. Hepburn's Glass.
Hepburn's Glass Supplies is the latest trend-setting supplier of glass and mirrors in the industry. We specialize in tinted and clear glasses, as well as mirrors for all your windows, doors, and closets at very competitive prices. To maximize your shopping experience, we stock 316 and 316 and quarter thickness in our entire stock of float glasses. We have in stock gloves, cutters, and suction cups at unbeatable prices. Our customer service is second to none, with same-day cutting for your specific measurements. Visit our office at 13 Chisholm Avenue, Kingston 13. Call us at 9080962 or email hepburn.glass@gmail.com. Hepburn's Glass. Quality service is our priority.
Now for our sports stories. You missed it this morning. Here we go. Stephen Curry scored 29 points as the Golden State Warriors bounced back from a painful defeat to thrash the Milwaukee Bucks 125-90. Seven-time NBA champions Golden State had suffered a staggering 52-point loss to the Boston Celtics on Sunday, but they scored an impressive 40 points in Wednesday's first quarter, adding 38 in the second to take a decisive 78-58 lead at San Francisco's Chase Center. Said Curry, responding to the win, "For us to respond the way we did, coming home was big." On football, Black Steena's first half hat-trick helped Arsenal secure their place in the Women's League Cup final with a dominant victory over Aston Villa. Black Steena's rifled past Anna Leet at the near post after collecting a well-weighted Frida Mainom through ball to give League Cup holders Arsenal the lead after minutes. The Sweden striker netted again just 2 minutes later, prodding home from close range after Alissa Rosso knocked a Beth Mead cross towards her. Villa struggled as they were overrun by Arsenal's energetic attacking and found themselves 3 goals behind after just 18 minutes, with Mainom effortlessly curling a shot into the top corner from the edge of the area. Blackstein pounced on a loose ball after Villa failed to clear a corner to complete her hat-trick before the break as Arsenal cruised towards victory. Villa manager Carla Ward said the first half was horribly disappointing. And the March 2024 CONCACAF Club rankings are out. Based on the index, Mount Pleasant Academy is the highest ranked club in Jamaica and the third highest ranked club in the Caribbean. Trinidad and Tobago, in terms of country, are at 151 in terms of position. That's sports, brought to you by Hepburn's Glass, located at 13 Chisholm Avenue in Kingston. You're tuned to NRP Radio, and of course, we promise to bring you a good news story as often as we can. If you know of or are aware of any event or person whose good story we should highlight, please send this information to our email address at nationalreligiousmedia@gmail.com or call our WhatsApp 876 336 9928. That's the local news and sports. Stand by now for the latest international news, courtesy of the Voice of America.
This is VOA News. I'm Alexis Strope. U.S. President Joe Biden will try to use the State of the Union address to convince voters he deserves a second term. AP Washington correspondent Sagar Meghani reports.
In his State of the Union address, spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre says the president will detail how he wants to build on the progress of his first 3 years.
He will share why he is hopeful about the country's future.
His future, though, remains in doubt, with many voters concerned about whether the 81-year-old president is fit for a second term. So the University of Virginia's Kyle Kondik says among the president's tasks tonight,
reassure the public in some way about his age.
And to make his re-election case.
Biden and his team have been saying that we're making things better, but the American people don't necessarily feel better.
Sagar Meghani at the White House.
Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Thursday urged the warring parties in Sudan to agree to halt hostilities during the Muslim fasting month of Ramadan. VOA's Rick Pantaleo reports.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said that there is now a serious risk that the conflict in Sudan could ignite regional instability of dramatic proportions.
It is time to silence the guns and raise the volume for peace. In just days, the holy month of Ramadan will commence. So from this chamber today, I'm making an appeal. I call on all parties in Sudan to honor the values of Ramadan by honoring a Ramadan cessation of hostilities.
The Security Council is negotiating a British-drafted resolution that would also call for a truce for Ramadan between the warring Sudanese army and paramilitary rapid support forces. Ramadan begins early next week. Rick Pantaleo, VOA News.
You'll find expanded coverage of world news and events at our website, voanews.com, 24 hours a day. This is VOA News.
Thank you for listening there to the latest from the Voice of America, bringing us their international news right here inside of our NRP Evening News Roundup. 6:30 every evening weekday. Let's now go to the weather. And as we bring the weather to you this evening, let's tell you that the National Meteorological Service of Jamaica is reporting that there is a significant feature of a weak ridge across Jamaica. The ridge is expected predominantly dry conditions through to the weekend. This afternoon becoming cloudy, especially across northern areas or northern parishes. Tonight, mainly fair. The 3-day forecast starting tomorrow, that's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Mainly sun in the mornings and partly cloudy in the afternoons. There is a broad high-pressure system across the Atlantic, including the Northern Caribbean at this time. Maximum temperatures that were expected for Kingston today, 31 degrees Celsius. Maximum temperature expected for Montego Bay today, 32 degrees Celsius. That is the latest weather report and forecast right here inside the NRP Evening News Roundup. And just to let you know that as we broadcast the news this evening, the Met Service says that the maximum temperature expected for Kingston and Montego Bay, that has changed somewhat. All right, so we will come back to that in just a moment. We do apologize for that break. As we were saying before, the Met Service says that the minimum temperature expected for Kingston tonight is 25 degrees Celsius, and the minimum temperature expected for Montego Bay tonight is 24 degrees Celsius. So you heard it right here on NRP Radio as we bring our news to a close. And just to let you know the headlines once again, successful councillors in the recent local government elections sworn into office across the island. JLP wins magisterial recount for its candidate-elect in the Cornwall Mountain Division of Westmoreland. Councillor-elect candidates to be sworn in at next council meeting. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, says that the government will be implementing measures to ensure greater spend of capital expenditure in the upcoming fiscal year. 3 firearms and several rounds of ammunition seized during an operation in Central Village, St. Catherine, and 10 persons taken into custody. In sports, basketball action, Golden State Warriors thrashes the Milwaukee Bucks 125 to 90. That is the latest news right here on NRP Radio. We invite you to join us again tomorrow morning at 6:30 for the NRP Break of Day newscast. Remember now, we encourage you to go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to our channel, NRP Media JA, and feel fulfilled and informed. Have for yourself a great rest of your evening, and please stand by for the latest from the Jamaica Information Service, which will be coming your way right here on this platform on top of the hour at 7. It's new. It's the Upper Room at 8 p.m., the newest and most riveting and engaging discussion program on biblical matters. Once again, right here on nrpmediaja.com, every Sundays, 8 to 10 p.m. It's all about things you know, things you thought you know, and things you're not truly sure about. nrpmediaja.com, where you are, no boundaries, no limitations. Radio listener, let's go heart to heart on a Monday, 7:15 in the evening, right here on the National Religious Partnership Media and Radio, broadcasting on the platform of nrpmediaja.com. Yes, it will be the Heart to Heart talk show with the difference with host Minister Tyrell Morgan. It's a program which covers the full gamut of issues, some of which you are sometimes uncomfortable to talk about. So once again, it's your invitation to join the Heart to Heart talk show on the National Religious Partnership Media and Radio, broadcasting on the platform of nrpmediaja.com every Monday evening at 7:15 and again on a Friday evening at 5 o'clock. Check out the YouTube channel at Heart to Heart Talk Show JA or Facebook at Heart to Heart Talk Show JA. Yes, Heart to Heart is now on nrpmediaja.com. So, of a heart. And will you?
J-Win Pharmacy Limited, Samfo Plaza in Spalding, Clarendon, the leading pharmacy in the area that specializes in pharmaceuticals, general over-the-counter items and cosmetics. They stock various self-care items and household items. Contact them at 876-956-0930 or 876-371-6781. Here to provide just what you need. VW Investments Company Limited, Christiana Main Street, Spaldings, Clarendon. Quick exchange, no hassle, best rates. Call them at 876-964-0604 or 876-964-9370. J-Win Pharmacy Limited, Sam for Plaza in Spalding, Clarendon, the leading pharmacy in the area that specializes in pharmaceuticals, general over-the-counter items and cosmetics. They stock various self-care items and household items. Contact them at 876-956-0930 or 876-371-6781. Here to provide just what you need.
NRPMediaJA.com, reaching you where you are, no boundaries, no limitations. Psalm 37 verse 8 says, don't get angry. Don't be upset. It only leads to trouble. This is NRP Media and Radio. The time is 7 o'clock. It is 7 o'clock, and you're now invited to listen to the Jamaica Information Service package, produced and presented by the Jamaica Information Service and aired in time allowed for government broadcasts.
I'm Andre Palmer with GIS Evening News for Thursday, March 7. Coming up, Prime Minister reiterates call for workforce to ramp up productivity, Granville Police Station to be completed in 2025, and government moving to double stipend paid to jurors. The news in detail after the break.
NIS pensioners, avoid the wait. Get your NIS pension straight to your bank account. It's easy. Simply visit the Ministry of Labor and Social Security's website, mlss.gov.jm or NIS office, and collect the direct deposit application form. Then complete the form and submit it along with supporting documents to the NIS office nearest you. Avoid crowds and long lines. Get your money when you want it. The National Insurance Scheme, always working for you.
Now the news. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has renewed the call for increased productivity by Jamaica's labor force to further boost and sustain the country's economic growth. Addressing the unveiling of the Amber UTech launchpad at the University of Technology UTech campus yesterday, Prime Minister Holness said the government has undertaken a massive shift in the country's fiscal arrangement towards the labor force, particularly in the public sector. He urged Jamaicans to improve their productivity outputs to match the government's effort.
I will be the first to tell you that more must be done, and the government commits to doing more and will do more. But there is a parallel conversation that must happen. The only way to do more without collapsing the fiscal stability is to increase productivity. In the conversation about more, please talk about increased productivity.
Meanwhile, the Amber UTech launchpad is a collaborative effort between the Amber Group and the University of Technology Jamaica. The initiative nurture and advance tech startups within Jamaica. The Launchpad aims to facilitate the establishment and growth of 100 businesses within a span of 1,000 days. Head of the St. James Police Division, Superintendent of Police SSP Vernon Ellis, says the reconstructed Granville Police Station in St. James should be completed by 2025. When complete, the station, which was destroyed by fire in May 2021, will be a state-of-the-art fit-for-purpose facility.
Based on the plans and the submission is to build a purpose-built station there.
Mr. Ellis was speaking at the Sam Sharp Teachers College Research Day on the campus in Granville, St. James recently. SSP Ellis notes that the scope of work on the facility includes the construction of a resource center for students in and around the community of Granville, as requested by residents who attended a community meeting hosted by the Ministry of National Security. The Program of Advancement through Health and Education PATH and the Social Pension Program have received sizable increases in the national budget as the government continues efforts to strengthen social protection systems. Labour and Social Security Minister Pernell Charles Jr. says PATH has been allocated $10 billion, the lion's share of the $20.15 billion budget. He adds that part of the focus for the upcoming financial year is to increase the number of people benefiting from the social pension program, as well as increasing payouts.
For social pension, we see increases of a whopping 164.71% increase, which will see us with $672 million additional dollars, moving at over $1 billion for our social pension beneficiaries.
Mr. Charles Jr. was speaking at the Standing Finance Committee meeting in the House of Representatives earlier this week. 300,000 Jamaicans benefit directly from PATH and the Social Pension Program. The Social Pension Program targets seniors 75 years and older who are not receiving a pension or other source of income. And steps are being taken to see the doubling of the stipend paid out to jurors. Speaking at Parliament's Standing Finance Committee recently, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck informed that a submission has been made to the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service on the matter. He noted, however, that the actual amount of the increase will be decided by the Cabinet.
The proposal is to more than double what is paid now for those who serve. You pay them per day. One of the reasons why, especially in the rural areas, to summon a juror and he has to pay $1,000 to come to court, buy lunch, and then go back. It costs him, and he may be a farmer, he may be self-employed. It's very costly to him. So we have put in a cabinet submission, which we hope to take to cabinet soon, where once you're summoned to court and your name is called on the day, you should be reimbursed for that day.
Currently, jurors who serve received a stipend of $2,000 per day, which moved up from $500 in 2015. That was JIS News. I'm Andre Palmer.
The following is a radio drama brought to you by the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA.
Annie? Wow, I have not seen you in...
Oh my gosh. Yes, it's certainly been a long time, I haven't seen you since we finished university?
I think so. I think the last time I saw you was when you had just started working at that place with Child Development Agency or something like that.
Yes, it is now the Child Protection and Family Services Agency.
Sorry. It's like God let me run into you today because I need some help with my daughter, Candy.
Really? How old is she now?
She's 12, man, and of late, it's like she's a whole new person. I don't know what to do with her. She get lazy. She stopped doing her school work. She looking into space all the time. And it's like, me and her father, we can't talk to her. The least little thing, she lashes out at us. And I'm feeling so frustrated.
That's definitely not normal behavior at all, Have you spoken to her teacher at school to find out if she's also noticing these changes?
Yes, I went by her school and spoke with the guidance counselor. She's going to try and assist us to get some counseling for Candy.
Yes, because what you just described to me could be signs of something going wrong mentally. Worst case scenario, her mental health and well-being might be deteriorating.
No, Annie, what? Mental health deteriorating? But how can that be possible? And we try our best to give her everything. No, man, it cannot be that.
Susan, the pandemic has impacted our children more than we could ever imagine. With the shift from in-person classes to online learning, many children lost their safe space among their peers. Some of them, parents lost their jobs and the home situation changed. We've had to be dealing with even more cases at the office than usual.
Seriously? Candy's definitely going through something and I don't know what it is.
Remember, the school has promised to help, but you can take her to a specialist like a psychologist or a psychiatrist who can provide professional help.
Really? I didn't know children could just go to those doctors like that. But then again, I don't know if there is a need for that. Whatever she's going through will eventually go away, don't it?
No, Susan. Mental health is no joke. These little things can grow into monsters if you don't get the help at the right time. At CPFSA, we're seeing an increase in the number of children in state care whose mental health and well-being have been impacted. To help address this issue, we've recently expanded our mental health services with a mobile unit through a partnership that we have with the Transformation Implementation Unit. This allows us to access state-of-the-art psychological tools to screen children and identify the best course of action to get them help. It's hard to hear that Candy is having these challenges, though, and you really should go get some help for her.
You know what, Annie? Yes, I really should. I had no idea this issue impacted so many of our young people. And I am beyond grateful for the advice you have given me today. I have to talk to her father, though, about it right away. We will do anything to help our Candy.
Susan, you know I'm here to help in any way I can to ensure that Candy gets the help she needs. Come, let me give you my number, and you call me anytime to talk it through, okay?
Thank you.
That was brought to you by the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, protecting children, empowering families, securing the future.
A stable family is the best environment for every child. At the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, we have made caring for our nation's children easier by making better use of information and communication technology in our processes. This includes integrating the National Children's Registers processes into our case management system. As a result, staff can efficiently access case files and process cases promptly and seamlessly. We will also be equipping nurseries with sensory equipment to support the growth of children with special the CPFSA, protecting children, empowering families, securing the future. Visit childprotection.gov.jm to learn more. This ICT expansion project is being implemented in collaboration with the Transformation Implementation Unit.
The Jamaica Anti-Doping Commission, in association with the Jamaica Information Service, now presents JADCO and You.
In this edition of JADCO and You, we bring you up to speed on the 2024 prohibited list published by the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA. Stay tuned.
Hey, Michael, I had a really bad headache last night, so I took some painkillers.
What did you take?
Some ibuprofen, but now I'm worried. It might have banned substances.
Hear what? Take the 2024 prohibited list to your doctor. They will tell you if it contains any banned substances. Well, at least that is what JADCO recommends.
I'm going to do that today because I can't afford to commit any anti-doping rule violation.
Let's hope you're safe. Otherwise, you will have to inform JADCO.
I will let you know what the doctor says later.
Athletes, have you seen a copy of the 2024 list of prohibited substances and methods? If not, you need to make this a priority. It is important to know that you can wind up with a positive test if you use medications or consume foods containing prohibited substances. This is why you must familiarize yourself with the 2024 prohibited list published by the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA. It is one of the 8 international standards mandatory for all signatories of the World Anti-Doping Code and specifies which substances and methods are prohibited both in and out of competition and which substances are banned in particular sports. The prohibited list is updated annually following an extensive consultation process by the 2020 prohibited substances and methods took effect on January 1 and will remain in effect until December 31. Along with the list, WADA also published the 2024 Summary of Major Modifications and Explanatory Notes and the 2024 Monitoring Program, which includes substances that are not on the list but that WADA wishes to monitor to detect patterns of misuse in sport. This year, WADA is imploring all athletes, entourage, and stakeholders to note major modifications concerning tramadol. WADA says tramadol has been on its monitoring program and data gathered through that program have indicated use in sports. WADA adds that tramadol abuse, with its risk of physical dependence, opiate use disorder, and overdoses, is of concern worldwide and has led to it being a controlled drug in many countries. The agency further states that research studies funded by WADA, as referenced in the explanatory note, have also confirmed the potential for tramadol to enhance sports performance. All athletes and support personnel can get more information on this by accessing the WADA website at wada-ama.org. Although the prohibited list comes in effect on January 1 of each year, a substance or method may be added to the list at any time. So athletes and support personnel, make sure you keep abreast of the updates. So, you may be wondering how a substance or method makes it onto the prohibited list. Well, the prohibited list may include any substance or method that has the potential to enhance or enhances sport performance, represents an actual or potential health risk to athletes, or violates the spirit of sport. Athletes can also test positive from taking supplements, which may be contaminated with prohibited substances. It is important to note that supplements may also be mislabeled. Neither the Jamaica Anti-Doping Commission nor WADA supports the use of supplements. Athletes should speak with their doctors or nutritionists about alternatives. If an athlete must take a banned substance for a legitimate medical condition, they are encouraged to apply for a therapeutic use exemption (TUE). The athlete must provide evidence of the TUE application can be processed. Note that failure to comply with the prohibited list can result in an anti-doping rule violation. The strict liability principle states that athletes are responsible for any prohibited substance found in their sample, whether they intentionally or unintentionally used that substance. When an athlete tests positive, the sanction can range anywhere from a reprimand to a lifetime ban. Therefore, athletes are advised to be vigilant in monitoring the substances they ingest. The 2024 list of prohibited substances and methods can be accessed on the WADA website at wada-ama.org. To learn more about the fight against the doping in sport, contact JADCO 876-9500 or visit its office at Ballata Multiplex, 1 Ballata Avenue, Kingston 10. You may also log on to its website, jadco.gov.jm. Feel free to check out the Commission's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter pages, and subscribe to their YouTube channel. This has been Jadco and you. Until next time, remember, you don't need dope to cope.
While many disabled persons continue to face challenges as they seek greater acceptance within our society, strides are being made to create a more inclusive Jamaica where the rights of people with disabilities are upheld. The Disabilities Act has been in place since 2022 and aims to protect and promote equal rights and inclusion for persons with disabilities. Jamaica is also signatory to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which prohibits against children and adults living with disabilities and promotes equality of opportunities. Article 7 of the Convention speaks specifically to children with disabilities and ensuring their full enjoyment of human rights and freedoms, the protection of their best in the right to express their views freely on matters affecting them. In line with these safeguards, the private and public sectors have been putting measures in place to address physical and communication barriers to participation by persons with disabilities. This includes improvements in schools to include wheelchair ramps, bathroom access, and chairlifts to allow for ease of access. Attorneys and other personnel in the justice sector have also been trained in sign language to improve their communication with deaf persons. So what is the call to action regarding children with disabilities and their families as they navigate life with their impairments? Executive Director at Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, JCPD, Dr. Christine Hendricks, societal approach is needed to break the back of discrimination against members of the community.
If it is that a parent has a child and they are encouraged, yeah man, take out your children, but then the child is teased, for argument's sake, and called monkey or called any name derogatory, that would perpetuate stigma and discrimination. If it is that particular principal determines that they are not taking this child because of how he or she looks, or the fact that the child uses a wheelchair, or the fact that the child is blind, then they contribute to the discrimination and the stigma that is perpetuated. So everybody in their own space has a part to play getting rid of stigma and discrimination.
She's calling for people in every sphere of society to accommodate persons with disabilities within their spaces and to treat them as equals.
If we continue to disregard our children with disabilities, we end up paying more as a society in social protection. We continue to burden the health system for children that could be independent and contributing to the value and the development of our country. We would have to end up taking care of them. Is that the society that we want? I don't think so. And so it would benefit us as a country to pay attention, get the statistics. So when we're doing census, take the census of people with disabilities so they know exactly how many people we have for real. Our children are part of the citizens of Jamaica and they should be counted.
In the meantime, consultant clinical psychologist Dr. Avril Daly asserts that helping children navigate their disabilities requires honesty and raising our expectations of them. She says despite the individual challenges of each disability, parents should motivate their children to function within their abilities.
Parents can help their children to build their self-esteem, to let them know that, yes, I am different, but it doesn't mean that I'm less able than somebody else to try and function and to live the life that I want to try and achieve. There are going to be limits because you know that, okay, there are certain fields that you going to, but you look at lower level parallels that you can go to. Say, I can't become a teacher because I won't have the CSEC requirements, but I might become a teacher's assistant. So there are different things that you can aim for. I always tell persons, even children who maybe can't go out to the world of work, you can teach them to be a part of the household and to take on chores. So when they get old enough, you don't have to hire somebody to be at home with them, but they are capable of staying home, taking care of themselves, taking care of the home while you're away, and contributing to the society in that way.
Dr. Daly wants the society to be more caring and aware of how disabilities may affect children's behavior and empathize with parents who have children with disabilities.
What I would want for us to do as a nation, not to be as judgmental, because we don't know sometimes what is happening. So looking at the placement, looking for schools, helping the parents when they see them out in public struggling with their children, there's all the different things that I think a parent would actually like and to help them to cope.
Consultant clinical psychologist Dr. Avril Daly. That's it for today's feature. Thanks for listening. I'm Cheryl Johnson Hamilton.
On this week's House Matters, highlights of the Standing Finance Committee, government renewing Jamaica's catastrophe bond coverage and rehabilitation plan being crafted for Vale Royal. I'm Jada Francis. Stay tuned. The Standing Finance Committee of Parliament on Tuesday began reviewing the 2024-25 estimates of expenditure, allowing cabinet ministers to thoroughly discuss the plans and projects to be implemented by their respective ministries in the upcoming fiscal year. Among the day's presenters was Minister of Finance and the Public Service Dr. Nigel Clark, who announced that the government will be renewing Jamaica's catastrophe bond coverage to provide financial protection against the losses incurred from named storms for 4 Atlantic tropical cyclone seasons from 2024 to 2027.
We can't avoid economic shocks. Most of them are outside of our control. They're global in their sources, and natural disasters are clearly outside of our control. But what we aim to do is to be in a position where we can bounce back and bounce back quickly. And hence, we need to be in a position where fiscal resources become available in the event of a major natural disaster shock.
Meanwhile, Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs Marlene Malahoo Fort disclosed that work has begun for the establishment of a legal information portal for the digitization of the country's laws. The project is being funded under the Foundation for Competitive Project through the World Bank. Minister Malahoo Fort shared that the portal aims to improve public access to the laws, educate the public about all aspects of legal information, and provide a facility for the public to express views on and query the status of any law.
The portal will provide advanced search functionality and expanded availability of laws in various forms, with a particular focus on access to the Jamaica Gazette publications, as well as content giving notification of various seminal, judicial, and legislative development. The project cost is estimated at about $30 million, with 7.7 of that sum to be used to procure ITC equipment during the upcoming financial year.
Work on the portal is expected to be completed by February 2025. In the meantime, a rehabilitation plan is being crafted for Vale Royal by the Jamaica National Heritage Trust, JNHT. This was disclosed by Minister without portfolio with responsibility for information in the Office of the Prime Minister, Robert Morgan, who informed that Prime Minister Andrew Holness has mandated the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport and the JNHD to urgently craft a plan for the rehabilitation of the facility.
The monies that would come from this for Vale Royal is to deal with security, is to deal with overall management of the property. But the building is a very old building that has not been maintained properly over time, and this is going to require significant financial infusion to fix.
The minister added that contact will be made with the JNHT through its parent ministry regarding the timeline for the rehabilitation of the facility. And finally, Transport Minister Darrell Vance disclosed that in the upcoming financial year, the Jamaica Railway Corporation will focus on expanding the passenger railway service to the business process outsourcing BPO sector in St. Catherine. He explained that the JRC's passenger rail service has been struggling to keep afloat, costing the government some $10 million monthly. However, extending the service to the BPO sectors could secure between $30 and $40 million in guaranteed monthly revenue.
The BPOs employ thousands of people in one location, and transport is a problem. That railway line runs right across a number of them, and it's a good revenue earner because of the amount of persons that will be moved to and from on a daily basis.
The passenger rail service was reintroduced in 2022 to provide a safe and secure mode of transport for some 400 school children, orbital instead to Spanish Down in St. Catherine. That's it for this week's House Matters. Join us again next time for more on what's happening in the Houses of Parliament. I'm Jenna Francis. Take care.
I don't know what I would do without my RADA extension officer. When I was just starting out, I didn't know what I was doing. But with their help, I could plow the land the right way, know which crop to plant. I even learned some tricks to deal with pests. Right now, my customers love the quality of the crops from my farm. I am happy I was introduced to the RADA extension services early. If you need help on your farm, call RADA at 876-977-1158-62. A message from the GIS.
JIS Radio presents Roundabout JA, a 5-minute feature on local news, ideas, people, places, and things. Roundabout JA.
On today's edition of Roundabout JA, Grange Hill Primary School celebrates 100 years. And later, a nutritional tip from Let's Go Roundabout JA.
If we ignore road signs, the consequences can be deadly. The new Road Traffic Act is about saving lives and driving us all to arrive alive. Help to maintain law and order on our nation's thoroughfares. Be a good road user. Obey the road signs. Help us save lives on our roads.
The blood bank is always in need of blood. Give generously. The blood you give today may save your life tomorrow.
Under the theme Celebrating the Past, Embracing the Present, and Positioning for the Future, Grange Hill Primary School in Westmoreland recently celebrated its 100th year in operation. Founded in 1924, the school has for the past century been responsible for educating them within the community and its environs. Principal of the school, Mr. Clayton Smith, says he is honored to be leading the institution as it celebrates this major milestone, and his aim is to continue building on its legacy.
I wanted to see Grange Hill Primary be the #1 primary school in Region 4. And in 2018, I managed to take the school to be the #1 government primary school in Region 4, having had 16 students achieving 95% and over at GSAT.
Past student and businessman Moses Chaibar credits Grange Hill Primary for laying the foundation for the man he is today.
I feel strongly that that really has made a very big impact on me. And the foundation certainly started there. And without that, I think what I am or who I am today and the successes I've had would not have been the same. So I'm eternally grateful, humbled by the experience.
Over the years, Grange Hill Primary has been home to iconic Jamaicans who served as principals and teachers, including the island's first Native Governor General, Sir Clifford Campbell, and prominent educator Godfrey Stewart. Achieving a more sustainable society with human development is one aspect of the Vision 2030 goal. It integrates and balances the economic, social, environmental, and governance components of national development. This sustainable approach has been defined that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. To access the full National Development Plan, visit vision2030.gov.ja. Also contact the Institute of Jamaica 6-960-9339.
Government pensioners, the Accountant General's Department Mobile Life Certificate Drive is coming to your parish. We'll be in St. Thomas and St. Mary on March 1. On March 2, we'll be in Portmore, March 4 in St. Elizabeth, on March 5 in Hanover, and March 6 Westmoreland. Trelawney pensioners, the AGD will see you on March 7, St. Anne on March 8, Spanish Town on March 9, Portland on March 11, and we'll make our final stops in Clarendon and Manchester on March 12. Remember, life certificates can be submitted at the St. James Parish Library, Ministry of Finance, and the AGD office at 21 Dominica Drive using electronic drop box. Information, visit our website at treasury.gov.jm.
And just before we go, here's a tip to help ensure our children eat a healthy and balanced diet. Going grocery shopping or cooking breakfast and dinner together is a great opportunity to tell your child about different foods and explain the principles of a healthy eating plate. Involving them in the process is a great way to help them buy into your preferred eating habits. That's it for today's program. Join us next highlight happenings roundabout JA. Until then, I'm Warren Bertram with studio engineer Andre Sawyers. Walk good.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Thank you so much for listening there to the latest from the Jamaica Information Service, aired in time, allowed for government broadcast. It's now 7:30, and at this time, we're going to be heading back over to our radio platform at nrpmediaja.com for the continuation of normal programming. Keep it locked right here on NRP Radio, reaching you where you are, no boundaries, no limitations. So once again, go on over to our radio platform at this time, pmediaja.com, for the continuation of normal programming. Our stream will now end. God bless you and have a good night. Hi there, I'm Leon Nash, CEO of nrpmediaja.com, and you